secret. B-Dog best kept secret. Coming into. The game is played with fundamental drills of art. Coaches they die from the side, real works of art. Plays are made, layups are laid. Hot shots from the top drop, much of us are fade. Hey, screaming fans, hand claps with band. Trimming hams demands to slam with a power jam. Now come and get some. You wanna play dumb? Treat you like a burger and fries, then I get some. That was funky.
And a very warm welcome to you wherever you may be watching Fox Sports right around Australia. The stage has been set and we are now ready to decide the 1997 NBL Championship. Hello everybody, John Casey with you again from Melbourne Park. When this series began a week ago, the Melbourne Tigers scored their 16th consecutive win, polishing the Melbourne Magic off by 37 points. And many people predicted we wouldn't be here for Game 3, but somehow in Game 2 on Wednesday, the Magic turned it around to win by 6 points, and now for the third consecutive year we have a deciding Game 3 here to choose who will win this title. Joining me in commentary as usual, Steve Carfino. And Steve, fabulous atmosphere here, even bigger and better than Games 1 and 2.
Well, that's right, because they're playing for this baby right here. Fantastic atmosphere, because none of these people thought that we were going to have a Game 2. The best two teams in the competition, the best offensive team in the Tigers and the best defensive teams, two teams that dominated throughout the season.
I guess if the Melbourne Tigers can score 100 points, then they will win this match. The Magic have to restrict them to something lower than 3 figures.
Well, that's right. The tempo is so important in this basketball game. If it's an up-tempo game, the Tigers really flourish in that running style. Andrew Gaze, Leonard Copeland from the perimeter, looking very good. Of course, Marcus Timmons and Brad Key cleaning it up for him. If this is a low-scoring game, that means it's a defensive game, and that's where the Magic have been tough all year.
And your tip, Steve?
I think since it's gone to 3, I'm going to stick what I said in Game 1. I think it's going to be the Magic.
Well, Steve Carfino going with the Magic. Will they win back-to-back titles? Well, we shall find out very soon. But ahead of that, let's hear from their coach. His name is Brian Goorjian.
Brian, you said in the paper that tempo was everything. The Magic had the tempo that they wanted in Game 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's vital. We've talked about it all through the series. When those possessions get up, when they get to the free throw line, when they get running and the game gets open, we can't play with that. So it's very important that it's a low possession game and it's a grind, and we got that done in Game 2.
Well, if it starts off in the tempo of the Tigers, how do you suppose you can turn it around? It really seems like the momentum seems to go out from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, it's important, I think, that we stay close in the first 6 minutes. A lot has to do with the score, and I'm not going to – a lot of this comes down to how it's refereed. And, you know, if it's refereed like the first 2 games, I think we're all right. I mean, free throws are vital. In Game 1, we were overzealous, and we got 28 free throws in the first half, and that stopped the game. We couldn't get our tempo set, and it forced us to fall behind. But I think if we keep them off the line, take away their easy baskets, we can make it a slow-tempo game.
Well, everybody talks about Marcus Timmons being a key player, but Leonard Copeland has been extra special in this series in both games.
Have you ever been to Chapel Street, to the Fun Zone, where they got those little heads that pop up and you got the hammer and you're whacking them down? Well, that's what it feels like when you're playing the Tigers. You got this hammer in there, Copeland, Gaze, Timmons, Bradkey, and, you know, so a head's going to emerge. And in this series, like last series, we held him down, but you got Gaze. It's impossible to keep the 4 of those guys down. Somebody's going to get going. And our bottom line is the 4 of them, what they score as a group, 78. If we can do that again, you know, I think we're in there with a chance. He got 28, they got 78. It was at the other 3's expense, so we were all right. TV bloopers, baby.
Well, a very animated Brian Goorjian there. His opposite number, Lindsay Gaze, shared the Coach of the Year title with Brian Goorjian. Let's hear from Lindsay Gaze.
Well, Lindsay, it's been a long season, but we're here for the final game. This is going to decide it. How are you and your team feeling?
Pretty good. You know, I was very pleased with the attitude of the guys today at the shoot-around. Very positive, very confident, and making their decisions about what they were going to do, which is the way that we want it. You know, from a coaching point of view, we want to make it a player's game as much as possible. And, you know, I think they're very keen, looking forward to it.
You led at every change in Game 2, but not at the finish when it counted. Was there anything that you were perturbed about during that game that you think perhaps let you down?
Well, particularly in the last quarter, I thought our shot selection was poor, and we were trying to take the first option rather than the best option. And the percentage worked against us on that. we're a bit unlucky with a couple of shots just in the crunch there that might have gone down, and if we'd have got a break there, well, then perhaps it could have turned around a close game. But that's typical how a final should be. Hopefully this time it'll be the other way around.
Marcus Timmins has been great for you, but did not score after quarter time. Any worries there?
Well, that was a result of our poor shot selection and play selection, because we were getting the ball to him early, and we starved him of opportunities, and that was more the structure of what we're doing in our play selection, that not what Mark wasn't doing himself, and he'll be more of a target tonight.
Lindsay, thanks for your time.
Good night, John.
Lindsay Gaze there, certainly a great achiever in Australian basketball, as is Brian Goorjian. Contrasting styles, but they get the job done. Helping us out with our coverage tonight, none other than the Townsville Sun star Simon Curl. Simon, welcome to Fox.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be here.
Now, you have played with the Magic in the past, back in '93 when the Tigers knocked you out. I guess we may see a little bit of one-sided comments from the sideline.
No, definitely not. The Magic, it's fantastic. I think 8 years in a row they've been in the Final Four, and I think really if they win tonight, they will be classed as a team of the 90s.
You're great friends with Andrew Parkinson, and you've been scrimmaging with the Magic during the week. What are your thoughts? Are they going to win this?
Well, I think they will. I was speaking to Steve before, and Brian Goorjian, without a doubt, is just an amazing coach. They have every angle on the court covered. They know where Copeland's going to be. They know where Gaze is going to be. They just know everything. So, to me, they're sentimental favourites, but I just think they're too well coached. They're too strong in strength and endurance, and I think if the referees let it be a physical game, then they're going to run the Tigers into the ground.
Now, Chris Anstey sat out a lot of practice yesterday. We understand just being rested. Big match for him. He's leaving for the NBA. He'd like to go on a winning note.
Definitely. He'd love to go to the NBA, play with the Mavericks with another championship on his hand. Yesterday, he did. There is rumours he has a sore foot, so we'll see how that comes up tonight. Hopefully with the adrenaline through his body, he'll just say forget it.
All right, Simon, thanks very much for your time. We look forward to your comments throughout the match.
Thanks, Steve.
Simon Curl joining us here on Fox for what should be a blockbuster coming your way. Stay with us. The opening tip-off right after this.
Game 3 of the NBL Final, and the Magic start off with that successful lineup that they started with in Game 2. It's Mike Kelly and Sam McKinnon. Tony Ronaldson, who's been a little down, looking to recover here in Game 3. Frank Dremick, he has been the turning point for the Magic, giving them a little bit of extra scoring punch, and defensively very strong too. And at the center, John Dorge gets a start just as he did in Game 2, and he really rattled Mark Bradtke early in Game 2, did a good job.
And for the Melbourne Tigers, Andrew Gaze, the best player this country has ever produced in the backcourt with him, Leonard Copeland, who has top scored in both matches so far in the Grand Final Series. Warwick Giddy will do all the hard work and get the job done at the defensive end. Marcus Timmins, well, he's been quite an excitement machine. I spoke with him just prior to tip-off, and he is very excited about playing here in this Grand Final, having played in Grand Finals all over the world. And Mark Bradtke, who was named in the All-Star 5, it is the best centre in Australia at the moment.
And coming off the bench, and a strong bench it is for the Magic, Brian Tolbert. And when he came off the bench for the Magic in Game 2, he really pushed the break, and that was a big turning point in the basketball game. Jason Smith, of course, gives them a spark. Very athletic player, good shooter from the three-point line. Chris Anstey dominated in Game 2. He came in fresh. He was really mentally prepared for that basketball game. Andrew Parkinson, always a loaded weapon, ready to come off the bench for the Magic. And rounding off the bench is Matty Moore.
And for the Tigers, the 18-year-old youngster Daniel Egan, Ray Gordon, the experienced campaigner, Brett Jeffries, who has returned to Melbourne after spending time in the United States. Brett Rainbow, very athletic, but we don't expect to see too many minutes from him tonight. And Blair Smith, well, he will have a big say in this match. Coming off the bench, the combined resources of Dorge and Anstey are significant for the Magic, and Blair Smith needs to give Mark Bradtke and Marcus Timmins some good rest, get out there and have an impact on the game.
We spoke about the atmosphere before. This is a packed house. They turned away 200 people after the game on Wednesday night. That's incredible.
Well, just a fabulous atmosphere. Melbourne Tigers, again, their fans in good voice, appear to be a little louder than the Magic fans, and that could be a help for the Tigers as well. Their fourth grand final in the past 6 years for the Melbourne Tigers. At this stage, they've won only one of those, and the Magic looking to land back-to-back championships here at Melbourne Park. CDB, one of Australia's best young bands, will sing the national anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts. Our beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing. Advanced Australia.
Ladies and gentlemen, CDB.
Part of the big crowd there. These teams have met 5 times this year. The Tigers winning in overtime back in April. They then scored a 7-point win in July. They won by 32 points in the last meeting during the regular season and then won the opening game of the grand final by 37. But the Magic won game 2 by 6.
And that was the most important one. Their backs were to the wall. I guess there's a lot of theories going in this basketball game. One of them is, how will the Tigers respond after their first loss in months? There's going to be no shortage of theories before this game, during this game, and after this game. But one thing's for sure, these are the best 2 teams in the competition playing the best ball of the year.
Big news in Australian basketball, if you haven't caught up, is that Shane Hill is returning from the NBA back to the Sydney Kings. Chris Anstey has a flight booked tomorrow to head to the United States to join the Dallas Mavericks. So that is great news for Australian basketball, with Shane Hill coming back into the competition. The new season kicks off on January 29. Fox Sports will be there. It's been a tremendous week on Fox all round. The World Series baseball, and don't forget the NBA has kicked off. We shall have Chicago tomorrow as well. But this is what we've waited a long time for. Almost 7 months after the season started, the Tigers and the Magic locked at 1 game apiece to decide the 97 title. Billy Mildenhall, Eddie Crouch, Ray Hunt in charge. And the deciding game 3 is underway. The Melbourne Tigers in their familiar red strip heading to the left of your screen come up with the opening possession. Gaze. Here's Warwick Giddy working the ball around the perimeter. Now Marcus Timmins. Frank Drimmick has the job on him. And what a star Drimmick has been so far in the grand final series. So is Timmins. Unsuccessful with the first shot. George slapped it away from the cylinder. And the Tigers come up with possession. McKinnon guarded by Warwick Giddy, the 2 number 6s. This is Drimmick now, Kelly guarded by Gaze. Bradke and Dorge down on the low block. McKinnon comes up with the opening points of the match.
And 2 very strong buckets for the clubs. Marcus Timmins making a nice strong drive to the basket, didn't result in 2. And Sam McKinnon looking to show a little authority as he goes to the hole nice and strong. And this is going to be one very key component of the game. How is this game going to be called? If it's called too tight, it favors the Tigers. If it's really played loose, a lot of fouls, it goes to the Magic.
Mark Bradke comes up with the first points for the Melbourne Tigers. And the foul has been called on Andrew Gaze. Very similar situation from game 2 where he and Mike Kelly collided right in front of the Magic bench. Here it is in replay.
That's a tough one to call, and the players are testing the referees too.
McKinnon. Now Drimmick. Guarded by Copeland. Down low, here's Ronaldson. Had problems shooting the ball in game 2. They continue for the moment, but Dorge has the offensive rebound and the putback. Already with 4 championship rings, John Dorge wants a fistful.
Well, that's a big one for them. They're using single coverage on Tony Ronaldson. They want to wait to double team him, see if he gets going first.
Here's Timmins spinning his way to the hoop. 2 all for Drimmick. He banks 2 off the glass.
Well, Marcus Timmins looks a lot more aggressive offensively already. I think Frank Drimmick's going to need some help on him. If he's looking to go to the hole, he can't be stopped with one guy.
Dorge for the dunk. Worried out of the points. Good D played by Bradkey. Now Timmins taking them all on again. Coast to coast. Now he heads back to his skipper. Gaze with a mismatch here against Tony Ronaldson. Will he try and exploit it? Instead he goes to Marcus Timmins. Down low against McKinnon. Short on the iron. The foul will be on Sam McKinnon. Well, Timmins had 11 points in the first term of game number 2. A great start, but unfortunately he did not add to his scoring tally for the remainder of the match.
These teams are playing so hard. Dorge goes hard to the hole. Good aggressive play, but some excellent defense. On this end, they go to Marcus Timmins again down low. You have Mike Kelly on his back. And after he missed the shot and was fouled, he was motioning, keep getting me the ball. He is really looking to score. He's going to be tough to stop tonight.
Timmins puts the Melbourne Tigers in front for the first time in the match. They lead by a point. 9:38 out from quarter time. Here's Kelly penetrating. Did everything but put it in the hole. It was slapped away by Bradkey, and now Copeland works back up the floor. Is in great form at the moment, looking for Timmins. McKinnon gets a piece of it. It spills out of court.
And Copeland really has been a danger man for the Tigers. The Magic scouting report was to make him go left. He likes to go right, but he's been killing them left in this series.
Giddey took only 2 shots in game number 2. Don't expect to see a lot of him firing the ball, but this man will. Andrew Gaze, hard on the iron. It spills to Kelly. Gets free from Warwick Giddey, hands off. McKinnon charging to the hoop. Took a big foul. Warwick Giddey was not going to allow Sam McKinnon to charge in for the dunk.
Well, 2 reasons why he's not going to let him have this one. 1, he wants to get the crowd out of the basketball game. 2, he's going to make him shoot free throws. Sam McKinnon is not the best free throw shooter in the league. And Sam's bleeding. And he'll have to be subbed out.
Well, in Warwick Giddey's defense, he did get a big piece of the ball initially, and then the contact followed. Certainly no malice in that. Warwick Giddey is not that type of player.
Well, there's no tomorrow for these clubs. Somebody going to the hole like that there, every possession in this basketball game is just going to be so vital. This is not going to be a 30-point drubbing by anybody. This one's going to be tight, and it's going to be physical.
Parkinson, a good man to have on the strike. He led the league 3 years ago from the foul line, and he will be enjoying the early injection into this game while Sam McKinnon receives some treatment on the bench. Timmins working against Ronaldson, pulls up for the J. 2 more for Marcus Timmins. Game high 5 points now for Timmins as the Tigers lead it. Ronaldson couldn't get it to go. Drimmick kept it alive and did well against Copeland and Bradkey in that scenario. Here's Kelly, guarded by Timmins for the moment. Drimmick wants Ronaldson, finds him, spinning on Andrew Gaze, who reaches in and almost picks his pocket. Here's Drimmick firing. Yes! 3-point bomb from Frank Drimmick. Puts the Magic back in front. Now a foul has been called on Mike Kelly. That will be his second personal.
Foul was on Michael Kelly.
Well, Andrew Gaze felt like he was hard done by in game 2 by Mike Kelly being very physical with him. And Mike Kelly and Brian Goorjian from the sidelines just working Eddie. Because if this game is continued to be called like that, that is definitely in the Tigers' favor.
Well, Eddie Crouch, Bill Mildenhall and Ray Hunter, the three most experienced referees in this country. Between them, more than 1,600 NBL games. Billy Mildenhall will speak with us at half-time and tell us about winning Referee of the Year for the 10th time. Fantastic record. And certainly, as much as the players are on edge, the referees no doubt feeling a little nervous as well, Steve.
Well, that's right. I spoke to Gary Fox before the game, and he has said to the referees that you have to call it right in the middle, because if you call it too tight, it gives the Tigers an advantage, and if you don't call enough of them, then it gives the Magic an advantage. So that's a lot of pressure to put on the referees. Game 3 of a final, and they have a lot of say when he'll come out with this win.
And you did make reference during Game 2 on Wednesday that the officiating had been quite sound. They've done a great job. Bill Mildenhall, the only member of the Troika who has been involved in all 3 games. This is Timmins again working against Ronaldson. One way, then the other. Back to Bradke. In turn, Copeland. Guarded by Frank Drimmick. Copeland yet to take a shot in the match. Don't expect that to stay that way for long. Hard on the iron. Timmins athletically above Frank Drimmick. Came up with the ball. It spills out of court off Drimmick. And Sam McKinnon sits on the bench still receiving some treatment. Gates. Bradke. Back to the skipper. He's exchanged passes with Copeland as well. Now working around to the left-hand side. Between the legs. Confronted by Ronaldson. He penetrates. Hands off to Bradke. From close range, couldn't come up with the points. This is Warwick Giddy close to the hoop. He too was unsuccessful, but Timmins will keep it alive. Now Gaze. Giddy. Off to Bradke. The pass had too much heat on it. It spills out of court. Turnover to the Melbourne Tigers, the first in the match. And we've played almost 4.5 minutes. Here's Drimmy. The Magic by 2. In the 2 games so far, they have led only one end of quarter, and that was in Game 2 at the finish. This is Parkinson. Couldn't get it to go. Ronaldson working against Timmins. Almost did well, but Timmins keeps it alive to Copeland and will bring his team forward. Both teams 3 of 8 from the field at 38%. Timmins short on the iron. The tip in from Giddy was unsuccessful. Kelly hands off to Tony Ronaldson. Now Drimmick accepts the ball from Parkinson and moves it onwards to Kelly. Penetrating. Tony Ronaldson banks 2 off the glass after missing his first 2 shots. Ronaldson edges the Magic to a 4-point buffer.
That's one thing about Tony. He will not continue to miss the same type of shots. He'll mix it up and try and get himself going.
There's Copeland. Again short on the iron. George comes up with the rebound and hands off to Kelly. Working up the floor, Frank Drimmick couldn't get it to go. It spills to Mike Kelly. Needs support. Parkinson provides it. New 30-second shot clock for the Magic. 6 minutes played, 6 remaining here. Term number 1. A sellout crowd of more than 15,000 at Melbourne Park. Here's Ronaldson trying his luck from the hook shot. Timmins is called for his first foul. And Simon Curl can update us on the Magic bench where Sam McKinnon appears to be in some trouble.
Yes, we have a devastating blow for the Magic. Sam McKinnon, suspected broken nose. So I don't know how that's going to affect him for the rest of the game, but it's a massive blow for the Magic.
Wow. Certainly a big challenge for Sam McKinnon before the match started. Now a true test of character.
That's for sure. We don't really have a good look at it yet. It looks like it's got a bit of a bump there at the top of the nose. But the thing is, you don't know how severe a broken nose is. It could be, he could be having trouble with his sinuses. You just don't know. You can't say, oh, well, it's a grand final. He's got to play it tough. You don't want the guy to injure himself, give him any further injuries down the line. But that is a devastating blow. If there's any team that can cover for such an athlete, it is the Magic. They have Jason Smith on the bench. Of course, they've got Frank Drimmick on the court right now, and of course they can go smaller with Brian Tolbert, so they have a lot of different looks that they can still go to. But this game has had the Magic written all over it. It has been a very physical game, but the Tigers have been able to sustain those hits and stay in this basketball game. But the thing is, it looks like they're doing a lot of standing around. I think they're overemphasizing the fact that they want to get it to Marcus Timmons. They're not really playing the type of basketball the Tigers are used to. Go to him, yes, but don't get away from your game that's been so successful for you during the year.
Yes, the Tigers have taken 10 shots. Timmons has 4 of those. As Tony Ronaldson goes to the stripe to extend the lead. Averaged 16 points per game on the regular season. Had 9 and 5 so far in this series. But at the moment, his team leads by 5. Biggest of the match so far. Anstey has checked in for the Magic. Ray Gordon likewise for the Melbourne Tigers. He's with it now. Here's Bradkey, in turn Copeland. Timmons down low, Bradkey against Anstey. Shows him the ball, pirouettes around. Anstey called for a very quick foul after Bradkey almost lost the handle.
It looked like he was trying to give that to Marcus Timmons as he made a cut to the hole, but that's what the Tigers have to do. Catch the basketball, being ready to take it to the hole. Get the Magic, some of their players in foul trouble.
Copeland fires, gets the target and draws a foul. A big play from the money man, Leonard Copeland, and that was foul called on Frank Drmic. His first. The Magic now have 5, so every foul in the last 5.5 minutes from now is going to send the Tigers to the stripe. Melbourne Tigers have 3 team fouls here in the middle stages of term number 1.
If you hear the crowd oohing and on, it's because Billy Mildenhall has given Brian Goorjian a warning. He needs to sit down and shut up or he's going to get a tech.
The Magic by 2. Tick over 5 minutes out from the first break. Kelly brings the ball forward under pressure from Gordon. Now Drmic. They exchange passes. Kelly is dangerous from 3-point territory. Not on this occasion. Timmons comes up with the rebound. Number 4 for him already in the match. Bradkey takes Anstey on, gets 2, and draws another foul on the Southeast Melbourne Magic.
Now that's what happens when you play good aggressive basketball. Nice feed by Andrew Gaze. Good gather by Mark Bradkey, who had 2 players down on him, but it really looked like he jumped into Chris Anstey on that play. Chris just leaning into him a little bit. But you don't get those calls unless you go aggressive to the hole and keep taking it at the defense and draw some contact. Eventually you're going to get some calls.
McKinnon checks back into the game. Bradkey to the stripe for the extra point. He buries it. The Tigers lead by that. And Sam McKinnon is going to be in some discomfort for the remainder of the match with that broken nose. The Tigers by 1. Just under 5 minutes out from quarter time. Here's McKinnon, now Drmic. Guarded by Copeland, surveys the options, wants to penetrate. Now dishes outside to Ronaldson. He too works his way into the key. This is Kelly. Short on the iron, it skims across. Frank Drmic comes up with the loose ball. Now Kelly again, catch and shoot. Still without success, loose ball, Drmic's got it again. Hands off, Anstey from close range, puts 2 on the board for the Magic.
Well, the Tigers just cannot allow the Magic to dominate the boards like that, but one thing the Magic have to look, they have to hit some shots.
Here's Ray Gordon baseline, he drills 2. First shot in the match for Ray Gordon is all net as the lead changes again. Mike Kelly, none of 4 from the field for the Magic, needs a confidence booster. A foul has been called on the Melbourne Tigers. Mark Bradkey in the vicinity.
Foul is on Mark Bradkey.
That will be his first personal.
That's his first 4th team foul.
This is the Magic as they get the foul on Mark Bradkey. And I'd make the Magic hit a few shots. I wouldn't keep fouling them, give them a chance to get in the bonus and get on the line. The Magic are famous for hitting those big scoring droughts and not being able to put the ball in the hole.
Alley-oop play inside. This is Drmic confronted by Gordon and Gaze. He still goes, gets his own rebound. Now it spills out of court. Tigers will come up with it. But Frank Drmic has been outstanding in the grand final series. He averaged 7 points per game in the regular season. In his last 3 playoff matches, he's had 14 points, 12 points, 11 rebounds. And last Wednesday, 16 points, 5 rebounds.
Just a quick reminder to anybody throwing things out on the floor, you will be
Mike Kelly and Andrew
immediately
Gaze getting
removed from the
tangled up
stadium.
again. Andrew Gaze has bruises all over him. You'll notice them on both legs. It has been a fairly physical confrontation between he and Mike Kelly. Of course, Kelly, the MVP of last year's Grand Final series, with the Magic getting home. Copeland goes to work. Hands off Gordon. Quickly on to Gaze. Now Bradke against Anstey. Gordon spills to the floor, no whistle. Bradke forces up the shot, couldn't get it to go. Here come the Magic again. Kelly behind the back. Now Drimming. Sam McKinnon. Ronaldson penetrating, confronted by Bradke, dishes to Anstey. Off the glass, too hard. He's got it back. Gets a little closer and draws a foul on the Melbourne Tigers. Ray Hunt makes the call.
Chris Anstey is going to the line.
Ray Gordon was in the vicinity.
The foul is on Ray Gordon. That's his first.
And a lot of people hitting the floor here as Mark Bradke tries to lean in and get another opportunity to go to the line.
Welcoming for his first action tonight, Brian
There's some
Coleman.
issues here in this basketball game. One is the shooting percentage for the Magic. 5 of 16 from the field. They've taken more shot attempts than the Tigers, but they're just ice cold. The Tigers 43%, but if it weren't for the offensive rebounding of the Magic, they'd be in all kind of trouble. They don't even look like they're going to hit these shots.
Magic put their noses back in front. Tick over 3 minutes out from the first break. Gaze off to Bradke from close range. This time he finds the target. Bradke now with 7 points, a game high. And the Tigers are back in front. Talbot's checked into the game. He hands off to Kelly, in turn Anstey, working against Bradke. Turns the shot down, but tries his luck on this occasion. The right-handed hook shot was way short. Bradke appeared to be fouled. And that is the way referee Eddie Crouch has seen it. That will be Chris Anstey's third personal. He started on the bench. We're still 2:40 out from quarter time, and Anstey has 3 quick ones.
Now I know we're going to say this all night long because it is such an important factor on how this game is called, but I think the game has been called very evenly. It's a very physical basketball game, lots of contact, but the referees have been fairly consistent, very consistent on what is a foul and what isn't a foul.
Chris Anstey has struggled with foul problems at various stages this year, but it is worth pointing out that since he was drafted to the NBA, his foul count is actually lower than it was before that announcement. So those people who were of the opinion that the referees were showing him closer attention, the statistics don't back that up. Mark Bradke has had a great start to the match. He now has 9 points, and his team is in front by 3. The biggest margin the Tigers have enjoyed so far in the match. 2:30 out from quarter time. Talbot. Now McKinnon working against Blair Smith from close range. Couldn't come up with it. Timmins and Bradke between them had it. Another whistle. Another foul on the Magic. This time on Long John George. That will be his first.
A good strong drive by Sam McKinnon, went to the hole hard, but loose ball on the rebound. Watch all the hands going for this one. Ooh, he was hard done by on that one. So difficult to call this game. That is, every possession is going to have lots of contact. Very difficult task, but we have the luxury of slow motion replay, and that didn't look like much of a foul.
Correction, the foul was on John George.
Bradke a perfect 4 of 4. Make that 5 out of 5. 11 points, he leads the game. And this is the Tigers' biggest margin as they have a 5-point buffer. Magic working the ball through sets of hands. Now Ronaldson jacks it up for 3. Couldn't get it to go. Bradke has the rebound. Ronaldson now 1 of 4 from the field. As Gaze penetrates and hands back to Ray Gordon. Now Bradke. Timmins gets it next. Trying to pinch the ball from him, McKinnon unsuccessfully. Now Gordon, hands off to Gaze. Shot clock down to 9 seconds. Pushes Kelly away, fires, drains it. First points in the match for Andrew Gaze. The lead is out to 7.
Now, I guess you can say that Mike Kelly has done a phenomenal job on Andrew Gaze, because that was just sheer magic that he hit that shot. Tough shot by Andrew Gaze with great defense.
McKinnon penetrating. Foul will be called on Blair Smith. That will be his first. And at this stage, it would appear that Sam McKinnon has been a little shaken by that broken nose. As you get a look at Andrew Gaze, off balance, pushing Mike Kelly away. Never looked like missing.
The great players don't need much time or space. That just shows you how tough it is to guard Andrew Gaze. He wasn't even close to being open. Mike Kelly hadn't done anything wrong defensively. And you just, at times, you just cannot stop a great scorer.
Good composure on that occasion from Sam McKinnon. He ices the 2 free throws, has his team back to within 5. 75 seconds away from quarter time. Bradkey is on a different wavelength to both Gaze and Timmins, threw the ball straight out of court. Turnover number 2 for the Melbourne Tigers. The Magic yet to commit in the turnover count. Kelly presents himself top of the key, goes off to Tony Ronaldson. Now McKinnon, wide open from 3-point territory, moves a little closer to the hoop. Now back to Talbot. Shot clock now into single digits for the Southeast Melbourne Magic. Ronaldson goes to Kelly, falling away, tried to work the ball inside to John Dorge. It spills out of court. The Magic have 4 seconds on the shot clock. Good defensive work from Bradkey. This is Talbot, needs to get busy. Has lost the handle, it spills to Bradkey. Off to Ray Gordon, can he reel it in? Has 2 to beat, short arm the shot. Timmins from nowhere, an offensive rebound. The putback from Marcus Timmins.
Wow, we've seen some great plays in this series, but that might go down as the best one we've seen. Tremendous athletic ability.
Timmins now with 7 points. He and Bradkey have 18 between them. This is Ronaldson, close to the hoop. Now he retreats away. Kelly fires from 3-point territory and drops it. First points in the match for Mike Kelly. As the Tigers look for the final shot of the opening term. Gaze looking for Timmins. It spills out of court. And the Magic have 7/10 of a second to manufacture a prayer here. They trail by 4 at the moment. Talbot, the length of the floor. It was wayward, but it's been an entertaining start to this deciding Game 3, and it is the Melbourne Tigers who lead it by 4. It's 25-21 here on Fox.
Boy, you talk about some great basketball being played. It's defense by the Magic, offense trying to get going for the Tigers. We've got ourselves a good tight one.
Well, certainly the entertainment provided here at Melbourne Park is second to none. George Fisk is the game coordinator for the Magic. Here he is with Simon Curl.
George, quite a spectacular night here tonight. Can you just tell us and the people at home what's involved to organise a night like this?
Well, it starts well before the games. We anticipated we were going to be in the grand final. And so we'd organised with our dancing troupe from Dancers Edge, a choreographer. We also organised with a Magic Man who's got a company which is Perform Arts. We put a thing together, sketched out what we wanted to do, but we really didn't get it together until probably on the Sunday last week as to what we were going to do for Wednesday night. And when we won on Wednesday night, we were late hours working out what we're going to do. We had to get the music organised Thursday, pyrotechnics organised, all the various things, and we did that within 48 hours. Training session for the girls from 5:30 till 10:30 on Thursday night. Rehearsals today from 12:30 to 5:30 to 6 o'clock. And so it was all go and lighting, everything. It's been just a fantastic time.
Well, mate, you've done a great job. Congratulations and good luck for tonight.
Thanks very much.
And let's check out the stats. After 1 quarter play, it is the Melbourne Tigers scoring 1 quarter of that century, 25-21 over the Magic. Free throws are even. Both teams have been to the line 8 times, 7 out of 8 at 87%. 3-point shooting 0 for 1 for the Tigers.
2 for 7 for the Magic, 28% field goal shooting. Look at that baby right there, 6 of 20 for the Magic. Not going to win many games shooting that poorly from the field. 9 of 18 for the Tigers. Rebounding pretty close. Look at the turnover count, 3 for the Tigers, very low, and exceptional for the Magic with just 1. And the assist, 4 to 3.
Tigers back on the floor awaiting the arrival of the Southeast Melbourne Magic. The team in red back to their starting 5. The Magic come toward us with Brian Talbot starting instead of Frank Drimmick, an alteration from their starting 5. Identical scoreline from game 2 at quarter time. Can you believe that? 25-21 as we get underway here, term number 2. Tigers just 1 3-point attempt in the opening term without success. I'm sure that number will grow as this match progresses. This is Kelly off the glass, couldn't get it to go. Bradkey had it, lost it. It spills to Marcus Timmins, who is omnipresent at the moment. 7 points, 6 rebounds for Timmins, and a spectacular offensive rebound as well. Gaze almost had it. Mike Kelly slaps it out of his grasp. Another good defensive job done by Mike Kelly. Giddy. Here's Bradkey working against Dodge. Shows him the ball. Hands off. Leonard Copeland baseline. 2 pieces of the iron without success. Giddy almost had the tip in. It spills to Dodge, who's off to Talbot. Expect to see Talbot try and push the ball up the floor a lot quicker. Try and penetrate and open something up for his perimeter shooters. The moment he's guarded by Copeland. McKinnon presents himself top of the key. In turn, Kelly. Ronaldson trying to get a good seal on Timmins down in the low post. Here comes the ball. He goes to work. The Bear. Fall away jump shot. The user-friendly roll for Tony Ronaldson. A foul has been called on the Magic, however. John Dodge will be the recipient. The 2 points count, and John Dodge has his second personal. Number 9 on the Magic as a team, 6 to the Tigers.
Well, if John Dodge picks up another, he'll have 3 personal fouls, and you can really live with that because they've got 2 centers on 3 fouls. They've got 6 more to give after that one. It's a long, physical basketball game, and you got to feel that 2 centers with a big slug-out fest like this are better than 1.
Timmins against the shorter Mike Kelly. Tries his luck, couldn't get it to go. Bradkey came up with the rebound. Dodge was working against Bradkey and Giddy there. No support for Dodge on the boards, so the Tigers get another opportunity. Andrew Gaze retreats away from his Australian teammate Tony Ronaldson. Now wants to go to work. Good defensive job by Ronaldson. Ensured that Gaze couldn't get a shot away, but Copeland can, and he drains it. Copeland now with 5 points in the match. The lead is 4 in favour of the Tigers.
And the shots that Copeland and Gaze have had to hit are tough ones. Andrew Gaze hit that one as the first quarter wound down, and then look at that shot by Copeland.
McKinnon a little off balance. Oh, what a play from Giddy, lying flat on his back. Took the ball and handed off to Andrew Gaze, who in turn goes to Copeland from the same spot. He comes up with the same result. It's a 7-point lead to the Tigers as Talbot penetrates, couldn't get it to go. Dodge thought he was fouled, no whistle. The Tigers are off and running. Copeland, 3 in a row, just couldn't get it to fit. Timmins kept it alive, but here comes Talbot. It spills out of court. Frenetic pace here. 2.5 minutes played, term number 2. The Tigers lead it by 7.
And that's how quickly the Tigers can strike. And look at this play by Warwick Giddy. Just taps the basketball to Andrew Gaze. A dribble handoff to Copeland. And that is automatic. And that's how quickly the Tigers can light it up.
Jason Smith's checked into the game. Dodge moves the ball onwards to Drimmick, who's rejoined us as well. Smith a long way from the hoop, guarded by Copeland. Shot clock now into single figures. Kelly fires. It's a wayward shot. Spills to Warwick Giddy. He hands off to Copeland, in turn Gaze. Magic 7 of 25 from the field at 28%. Deja vu from game 1 here, where they really struggled from the field. Bradkey off to Gaze, working against Smith. The 2 number 10s. Gaze with a party trick, it tumbles. He now has 4 points in the match. The lead is out to 9, the biggest so far.
They're trying to keep fresh legs on Andrew Gaze. This time Jason Smith picks him up.
but really Mike Kelly is the one that they want to try and keep on him. He does a very good job at being very physical with Andrew Gaze and getting away with it.
Ronaldson gets a good seal on Timmins but can't finish it off. George came up with a rebound, worked the ball to Kelly. In turn, Ronaldson from three-point territory. He lands. Confidence booster for Tony Ronaldson. His team is back to within 6.
That's right, Case. Not only just a big cheer because the ball went in the basket, because they want their big score to get going. Andrew Gaze.
From the car park. His first success from downtown. Gaze now has 7. The lead is back to 9. With play to tick over 4 minutes of term number 2. Tony Ronaldson was 2 of 13 from the field on Wednesday night. This time he finds the target. He is now 4 of 8 at 50%. He leads his team with 10 points. They are back to within 7.
Okay, now that he's hit a couple of shots, now you play him differently. Don't just give him shots, jump hooks down low, and you might have to double team him if he starts to get going.
Gaze connects again. Well, none of 1 in the first term. The Tigers have hit 3 of 3 in the first 5 minutes of term number 2. Gaze now with 10 points as well as the lead is into double figures. Biggest of the match so far. This is Kelly against Gaze. Spinning down low, confronted by Bradke. As George works the ball to Drimmick. They need to find a way to score here. Can Drimmick provide them? Not on this occasion. Timmins has it. Also with support on both wings. Copeland to Gaze. Another three-point shot. And everything but fall. Gaze is putting on quite a show. Here's Drimmick. Now Ronaldson. In turn, Kelly. Crowd getting involved as well. The Tigers fans making their voices heard. Kelly penetrates to Ronaldson from close range. Couldn't get it to fit. Bradke came up with it. Giddy spills to the floor. No whistle provided. Tigers lead the rebound count 17-15. Timmins with 7 leads the game. Here's Bradke working against George. Shows him the ball with Ronaldson joining in. Threw the ball away, now gets it back. This is Timmins from three-point territory. Hard on the iron. Kelly came up with it with his problems. Well, lucky that the Magic maintain possession there as George goes to Drimmick. Past Copeland. What a block from Warwick Giddy. Exciting stuff from Giddy. Gaze has Bradke in support. At the other end, he misses. Copeland tips it in. Lead out to 12.
Unbelievable passage of basketball from the Tigers. Shows you why they ran off so many in a row. Wow. Excellent. They get the basketball to the open people. Brian Goorjian shaking his head. You know what he can do to stop this basketball train from rolling on. That was just incredible.
15 points to 7 for the Melbourne Tigers here in the first 6.5 minutes of term number 2.
And the Tigers will put Blair Smith and Daniel Egan in this basketball game because in game 2, this is a very taxing pace. Even though the Tigers are up 40-28, this has put a lot of strain on their starters. They play only 5 players, a lot of minutes. And it looked like they lost their legs in game number 2, and I don't think Lindsay's going to let that happen again. He's got to keep some people, some fresh people in this basketball game because the fourth quarter, when the Magic crank up that defense, they want to have some legs left.
Marcus Timmins and Warwick Giddy, 2 starters from the Tigers, sit down for the moment. And their places have been taken by Egan and Blair Smith. Magic rejoin us. They will have possession. And at the moment, they go with just 2 starters. Drimmick and Sam McKinnon. With Talbot, Anstey, and Jason Smith off the bench. This is Talbot, works the ball to Drimmick, guarded by Daniel Egan. McKinnon working against Blair Smith, closer to the hoop. Travel, turns the ball over. The Magic don't like the call. Hasn't been Sam McKinnon's night, that is for sure. If you joined us late, he has already broken his nose in a rebounding duel with Warwick Giddy. And 5 minutes out from half-time, the Magic trail by 12. Here's Bradke, put the ball on the floor, drew a foul on Brian Talbot, reaching in to try and relieve him of possession. His first personal.
Now, even if they feel like they're hard done by on that call, they're down. They're down 12 points, and they cannot afford to just go reckless and think that they're being screwed by the referees. They got to keep playing.
Good rebound from Anstey. Hands off to Drimmick. Talbot in support. Bradke to beat. He takes him on. Couldn't get it to fit. Good rebound there by Egan. He hits Gaze. Copeland in support. He charges to the hoop. 2 more for the Tigers. They have a 14-point buffer. 4:45 out from the half.
Strong drive to the hole by Drimmick. Doesn't get the roll. And that's what the Tigers do. Up-tempo game, they'll make you pay the price.
Worrying signs here for the Magic. Simon Curl is on their bench. Simon?
Georgian wants the team up and in and denying the lanes. He said, let's put in hard in the next 5 minutes and get it back before the half. Offensively, they want to go to Sam McKinnon on the block, keep it spread, make Andrew Gaze and the other members of the Tigers play some defense.
Well, the Magic are just struggling to score. It's as simple as that. The Tigers are running the break. They're getting their shots. They're shooting 50% from the field. The Magic are 9 of 32 from the field at 28%. Now, you'd have to get a really bad angle at the calls to be expected to be in the basketball game when you're shooting 9 of 32. Look at that right there, 9 of 32, 16 of 32. That's 7 more field goals. And the Melbourne Tigers are just playing their game. And the Magic just need to hit shots, as simple as that.
Well, Lindsay Gaze appears to be losing his voice. Let's hope this match doesn't go to overtime. He could be in a spot of bother. But yes, Steve, the Magic are struggling to put the ball in the hole. Mike Kelly, 1 of 7. Frank Drimmick, 1 of 6 are the main offenders at the moment. And Kelly and Drimmick have been 2 of their best players in this series.
And they really have. I mean, the thing is, you can hold the Melbourne Tigers down in scoring for a little while, but you've got to hit some shots while you're doing that, because if you hold them and then you don't score at the other end, it's just a matter of time before they start hitting shots. They're going to hit them, and they're going to hit them at a good percentage.
The Tigers on a 17-7 run here since quarter time. Magic with their problems as Gaze comes forward for the Tigers. Egan with a height advantage over Talbot. Hands off, Blair Smith in turn to Bradke. Anstey sags off him for the moment. Gaze from 3-point territory. Again, 2 pieces of the iron without success. Drimmick comes up with a rebound. Quickly the Magic move the ball up the floor. Jason Smith is dangerous, but not on this occasion. McKinnon did well to come up with the offensive rebound to Smith. He finishes it off. Closer to the hoop, he is quite spectacular, and Jason Smith breaks the drought for the Magic. Anstey, can he reel this in? Did well for a big man. Now Talbot wide open from 3-point territory. Couldn't get it to go. Bradke has the rebound off to Gaze. Has 2 to beat for the moment. Will he take them on? Wants support. Egan provides it. Smith's relieved him of it. Well, Jason Smith has had an impact off the bench already.
And that's what Frank Drimmick did for him in game 1. He came in, he had nothing to lose, shot the ball from the perimeter, went hard to the basket, and that's the spark that Jason Smith has given him.
McKinnon got Blair Smith in the air, worked closer to the hoop and drew a foul. Majority of the Magic fans are standing on their feet, applauding the call. They feel they have been hard done by in the foul count. Team-wise at the moment, 11 fouls on the Magic, 7 on the Tigers.
Well, we saw the trend in game 1. It was the Magic complaining to the referees, feeling like they were hard done by. The Tigers did the same thing in game 2. I tell you what, you don't have to be a real genius to figure out that you're doing the complaining, the other team's doing the playing.
McKinnon athletically against Timmins, but has now coughed it up. Bradke gets a rest on the bench. 11 points, 7 rebounds for Bradke. Just under 3 minutes out from halftime. Daniel Egan, the 18-year-old, looking for Blair Smith. Anstey working against him. Whistle provided by Eddie Crouch after Billy Mildenhall had waved it away. And Anstey has come up with the foul.
You can see it right there. That's the foul. And this is where the crowd comes in. Now the crowd feel that the Magic are really getting the short end of the stick, and on every call they're just waiting to boo or cheer the referees. And these guys are human. That is going to affect them throughout the basketball game. The crowd continues to work the referees like that. The Magic are going to start to get some calls, especially if they're down by a lot of points. But the Tigers have held the Magic to just 29% from the field, and they only have a 12-point lead. And if they don't watch it, the Magic just keep hanging around. They're a very good basketball team. You see Chris Anstey. And you know what that gesture means.
Well, Andrew Gaze now has 12 points in the match. He joins Copeland as the game high scorer. Anstey 4 fouls. Didn't play well in game 1, just 6.6 rebounds, but really turned it on in game 2 for 21 points, 9 rebounds. But he won't be much help to the Magic sitting on the bench. Here's Timmins. Now Copeland firing over the top of Sam McKinnon and burying it. Leonard Copeland, who has top scored in both games so far in the grand final series, pushes the Tigers out to a 16-point lead.
And if you can believe it, they've kind of been quiet points too. Nobody's really rant and raved about Leonard Copeland, but he has been so consistent, getting his points in just about every quarter. He hasn't really exploded for huge quarters, even though he's had some impressive quarters, but he's been consistent. Look at Tony Ronaldson trying to seal. And Blair Smith getting called for that one.
His third personal too, Steve. User-friendly roll for Sam McKinnon. McKinnon now with 6 points in the match. His team trails by 14, however, as we count down the final 2 minutes of the first half from Melbourne Park. Copeland, hands off. Here's Blair Smith, closer to the hoop. Egan did well. Great assist, great finish. The Tigers are back to a 16-point lead.
And that's an adjustment that the Tigers made when they switch on that pick and roll. They've got people going to the front of the basket.
Ronaldson from long range. Couldn't get the hook shot to fall after grabbing 2 pieces of the iron. Ronaldson now 4 of 10 from the field. 90 seconds away from the major break. Tigers, is it going to be their year? Copeland, close without success. Talbot quickly, Smith. Now Ronaldson from 3-point territory. Couldn't get it to go. Drimmick keeps it alive, has a foot on the line. They will turn the ball over.
They just have to hit those shots. Simple as that. They're still stuck on 29%. Now they have 11 field goals.
Blair Smith tries the hook, couldn't get it to go. Timmins bats the ball back to Copeland, hard on the iron. Ronaldson got the piece of it. Drimmick hands off to Talbot. Support on both wings. Penetrates, dishes to McKinnon. Shut down by Timmins. Now Smith. Frank Drimmick waving him on. This is Talbot. Plenty of contact with Timmins. They fire the ball to Ronaldson this time. He finds the target.
It's a good thing he hit it too. The Magic just turned down about 3 shots there. They're looking so tentative. Just can't do that against the Tigers. Tigers are missing some shots. I mean, there's not a tentative player out on the court for them. Even Daniel Egan's looking to get to the basket and be effective when his man leaves him. They're being aggressive.
Foul is on Jason Smith. That's his first penalty.
Jason Smith has his first personal. The Magic now have 13 as a team. Tigers 8. Gaze to the strike. 21 seconds remaining till halftime. Gaze now with 14 in the match, 12 of which have come here in term number 2. Magic want to slow this down for the last shot of the first half. Talbot works the ball to McKinnon. Oh, what a dunk from Sam McKinnon as he elevates above the rim. Exciting stuff. Here's Gaze on the buzzer. Hard on the iron. But what a finish to a spectacular first half here, and the Melbourne Tigers have a 14-point lead. It's 50-36 here on Fox.
We just saw an excellent half of basketball from the Melbourne Tigers. Very physical basketball game, and many thought that if it was going to be a physical game, it was really going to favor the Magic. But you've got to credit the Melbourne Tigers for some excellent defense in forcing them to shoot a very poor percentage.
Let's hear from the assistant coach of the Magic. He is with Simon Curl.
Stacks, you're down by 14 points. I know you had a set game plan you've been working on all week. The team doesn't seem to be running smoothly on offense. How are you going to combat that in the second half?
I think something that we need to address. We're quick shooting the ball a little bit too much. I think the plan was to try and run them around a little bit more than what we have. I think the guys are getting a little frustrated with some of the calls. They're getting to spend a lot of time on the foul line, which is another thing that we wanted to try and avoid. So I think two key things at halftime. We've got to try and keep them off the foul line and make them play a little bit more defense.
Big question on everybody's mind, mate, is can Sam McKinnon keep playing as hard as he usually does with the suspected broken nose?
Yeah, Sam's a big-time player, mate. I think the harder it is, the more chance that he's going to do well.
Thanks, mate.
All right, mate.
Ian Stacker there with Simon Curl at the half. The Tigers lead it by 14, 50-36. Stick around. We'll have more right after this.
See the Tigers, Andrew Gaze leads the way with them. Leonard Copeland, he has been especially tough this series, and we're about to be underway for the second half.
And if nothing else, the Magic have been consistent. 6 of 20 from the field in quarter number 1, 7 of 20 in quarter number 2. Here we go, second half from Melbourne Park. The 97 NBL Championship decider. The Tigers with a big 14-point edge to get us underway for the last 24 minutes. Here's McKinnon penetrating, short on the iron, scrambling for the ball, it spills to Gaze. They come up empty first trip up the floor, the Magic.
And it's another one of those. It's a tough layup, but it is a layup for Sam McKinnon that doesn't drop for the Magic. They've got to hit those shots.
Both teams back to their starting fives. Here's Gaze inside Bradke. Quick hands looking for Timmins. Not for the first time. The pass is oblique out of court. Turnover number 6 to the Melbourne Tigers.
Well, we haven't seen many turnovers, but when they do make a turnover, they don't really mess around. They just throw it right out of bounds, not even close to the person that they're passing it to.
Mike Kelly. Waves Trimmick away, goes to Ronaldson, guarded by Timmins. He works to the baseline, plenty of body contact, no whistle. Ronaldson gets the 2 anyway. 14 points, he joins Gaze and Copeland as the game high scorer.
That's what Simon Curl said. They have to continue to not worry about the referees. There's some contact on that shot by Tony Ronaldson, but he still hit it.
Tigers work the ball around through sets of hands. This is Copeland, guarded by Sam McKinnon with his back to the hoop. Shot clock now down to 9. He pulls the trigger. Leonard Copeland now has 16 points on 7 of 14 shooting.
I don't think people realize just how tough that shot is. He's shooting it over Sam McKinnon. He is a very good athlete. He's still just making it look easy.
Kelly. Copeland called for the foul, reaching in from behind. That will be Copeland's first. Still a long way to go, Steve, but one suspects that if the Tigers prevail here, it's going to be very hard not to give the grand final MVP to Leonard Copeland.
He really has stepped up in this series and continued that consistent scoring punch
for the Tigers, whether they are up by 20, 30 in game 1 or when it was tight in game 2. He has continued to be a force for the Tigers in this series. I couldn't agree with you more.
Kelly makes the second. That helps a little, but the Magic with their backs against the wall at the moment. They trail by 13 points. Gaze pushes Kelly over, offensive foul.
I'll tell you what, if the Magic were, and the Magic fans were concerned that they weren't getting any calls, they just got one there. If Mike Kelly doesn't flop, wasn't a whole lot of contact. Andrew Gage trying to go. Mike Kelly has a gift, but they could use one.
Well, Simon Curl is close to the action. Simon?
Yes, Brian Goorjian has told his players at halftime, hang tough, work the D, stick to the game plan. So he's sticking with what they've been going with all year. He's not panicking, shows a very classy coach.
Well, they were 22-8 in the regular season. Southeast Melbourne Magic then swept into the grand final, knocking Perth over in straight games by 10 points and then by 27. Kelly pushes Gaze over at the other end and drains 2. Lindsay Gaze up on his feet, wanted a reciprocal call, none forthcoming. An 11-point buffer now to the Tigers.
Well, I like the fact that he didn't get that call. Even if Ray Hunt misses that call, that doesn't mean he should give Andrew one.
Bradkey muscling his way to the hoop unsuccessfully. Kelly's got it again. Support up the floor provided by McKinnon. Copeland just does enough to prevent them from coming up with another 2.
And that would have had to have been a perfect strike to Sam McKinnon, because Leonard Copeland can get upstairs in a hurry too.
Magic fans finding voice as well. This is McKinnon. His jump shot skims over the top of the iron. Copeland comes up with the ball. Hands off to Gaze. Waved on by Lindsay Gaze. Giddy working against Ronaldson. Now Timmins against McKinnon. Spots Copeland. He works inside Drimmick, confronted by 2 others. They can't stop him. Leonard Copeland has a game-high 18.
Leonard Copeland going left on a hard closeout. Because he can hit that three-point shot with such accuracy, they have to respect him and come out hard on the closeout.
Drimmick top of the key, accepts the pass from Kelly and goes onwards toward Tony Ronaldson. Hard on the iron. Gaze comes up with the rebound. Only his second in the match, but he does have 14 points and 7 assists at this stage. The Magic have 6 as a team. Bradkey from close range on the Anderson. Brilliant work from the factor Andrew Gaze.
And that's aggressive offense in contrast to a tentative offense from the Magic. They need to get some offense going.
15-point lead now to the Tigers. If they weren't worried already, the Magic should be by now. Here's Ronaldson baseline. Timmins reaching in with a low percentage play. Comes up with his second personal.
Now, I know they'll take the ball out on the sideline, but we'll see the replay by Andrew Gaze. Look at that pass, delivers it, and Mark Bradkey finishes the play off. But you don't want to foul the Magic now. They're struggling to put the ball in the hole. Good bucket by Tony Ronaldson. Boy, do they need that.
Ronaldson now with 16, the only Magic player in double figures. McKinnon with 8 is their next high scorer. As Gaze hands off to Bradkey. Here's Timmins. Started brilliantly with 7 points, but hasn't scored since. He may do now as he draws a foul on Frank Drimmick.
Well, Frank Drimmick had his hands straight up in the air, but he, as Marcus Timmins went to fade, he just kept his body on him. Watch him, he'll lean, like I see him leaning forward, and that's where he gets the foul.
Marcus Timmins shooting 2.
Timmins 1 of 2 from the stripe so far in the match. Has won championships in Europe, in Asia, the CBA in the United States. There's a big blank next to Australia after spending last season with the Illawarra Hawks, but maybe for Marcus Timmins, another championship ring is heading his way. 15-point buffer. Tick over 7.5 minutes out from the final break. This is Drimmick. Now George onto McKinnon. Guarded by Giddy. Pulls away for the jump shot. Couldn't get it to go. Copeland has the rebound. Has been doing it at both ends of the floor, Copeland. 18 points, 5 rebounds for him. Gaze goes coast to coast. Retreats to Giddy. In turn, Copeland. They reverse the ball. Now Bradkey gets it. George sags off him. Giddy finds Copeland. He pulls the trigger. Yes. Tough shot on the baseline, but Leonard Copeland is white hot at the moment. 17-point lead to the Tigers.
Well, he ran Sam McKinnon off a series of screens, and he got that one off with lightning quickness. Flat, still drilled it, nothing but nylon.
Here's George, close to the hoop, trying to get Bradkey in the air. Couldn't do so. Ball spills out of court. Tigers will come up with possession. Well, the Magic are mixing it up, outside, inside, but for the moment, nothing is working.
They have to hit shots. They're playing good D. They force Leonard Copeland into a tough shot. And when a team's rolling, they're rolling.
Gaze inside, Timmins back to Bradkey from the foul line. He fires. High arc on the shot. Hard on the iron, it spills to Drimmick, off and running. Top of the key, here comes Sam McKinnon. Now Kelly, working against Gaze. Good screen from George, confronted by Bradkey and Timmins. He retreats, he's lost the handle. Timmins takes it away. It can be very effective in the open court, off the glass. Thought he was fouled, no whistle. Gaze cleans it up. 2 more for Andrew Gaze. The lead is out to 19. Tick over 6 minutes out. And is it all over for the Magic?
They're having trouble putting the ball in the hole. Tony Ronaldson not happy with a call there, but the Tigers have played some good basketball, just shy of the 50% mark. But they are rolling. They're hitting some big shots, and they're making the Magic shoot the basketball. Make them shoot it from the perimeter. When a team's not very confident, make them hit shots. Don't foul them, put them to the line. Make them hit some shots, and that's just what the Tigers are doing. Very underrated for their defense, but the Magic have really been clamped down by the Tigers' defense.
Well, in the 10 completed quarters of the Grand Final Series, the Southeast Melbourne Magic's best performance was a 24-point quarter in Game 2, quarter number 2. And they have had some low scoring. They had 17 points and 14 points in quarters 2 and 3 of Game 1. Only 15 here in the second term, and so far just 7 in almost 6 minutes of play of term number 3.
Wow, that's incredible. Check out the stat in the left bottom corner. The bench scores really not a factor. If the Magic don't overwhelm them on bench scores, then that works in the Tigers' favor. Field goal shooting just 33% for the Magic, 16 of 48. That's a huge factor. Rebounding, Tigers. Just about everything.
6 minutes out from the final break. Ronaldson surveys the options, working against Marcus Timmins. Parkinson into the game for the Magic to try and provide an option beyond the three-point line. Kelly instead goes to the top of the key. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Whistle provided by Bill Mildenhall. Foul off the ball will be called on Leonard Copeland. No, in fact, the foul has been called on Andrew Gaze.
Foul is on Andrew Gaze.
Third personal for Gaze.
That's his third foul.
Magic with a new 30-second shot clock. This is Parkinson. Now Drimmick. Works baseline against Warwick. Giddy pass. Bradkey, the reverse layup fits for Frank Drimmick. Surprisingly, only 5 points in the game for Drimmick. But that was all quality. Now they need to find a way to stop the Tigers. Down by 17, the Magic. After they led by 5 in the opening term. Bradkey with his problems. Swings the ball back in and goes to Anstey and turn Kelly. Confronted by Timmins. Anstey has a mismatch here against Warwick Giddy. Spinning to the hoop. Bradkey from nowhere! Says take that elsewhere. Now Copeland at the other end. Lost the handle. Thought he was fouled. No whistle. Mike Kelly. Drimmick with Giddy and Bradkey to beat. Back to Kelly. Short on the iron. Bradkey's got it. Drimmick takes it from him. Gaze is called for the foul. That will be his fourth.
Andrew Gaze got a running start at that one. Felt like he got that one clean. Mark Bradkey was off balance. Some good pressure by the Magic. And Andrew Gaze gets the ball right out of the hand of Frank Drimmick. There was some contact. But the old saying, hands part of the ball, maybe is Andrew's argument.
Drimick's first points in the third term broke a drought for him. Now he adds a couple more, has his team back to within 15 points. 4.5 minutes out from three-quarter time. Kelly hooked into a big hip and shoulder from Giddy. They leave him alone. Now Anstey blocks the shot. Well, you could hear the hit and feel it almost from the commentary position. Mike Kelly's in trouble. It was a monster screen from Warwick Giddy, who has already broken Sam McKinnon's nose tonight.
Well, it's legitimate. He's there. His shoulder just hits Mike Kelly's jaw. And that is one strong, tough player in Mike Kelly, but he got crunched. And sometimes when there's a big crowd, you can't hear your teammates calling for a screen. And that is how you get a team to stop pressuring you, because a lot of times they're concentrating so much at containing the dribbler, they can't hear the teammates call for a screen. It was huge, but legal.
Here's Dremick. Now Talbot, who's checked into the game for Mike Kelly. A little too nimble for Leonard Copeland, although Copeland will enjoy a height advantage when he gets possession down at the other end. Here's Dremick, short on the iron. Got his own rebound. The ball is loose. Anstey works the ball to Parkinson. Now Dremick spots up for three. Couldn't get it to go. Bradkey has rebound number 9 for him. 31-26 the rebound count in favour of the Tigers. As Gaze gets some treatment from Frank Dremick. Copeland, hands off, here's Giddy. Now back to Gaze. With Kelly out, Dremick gets the job on him. Timmins goes to work against Tony Ronaldson. Now 8 seconds on the shot clock. Need to get busy, so Gaze fires. Couldn't get it to go. Parkinson hands off to Talbot. He works to the direction of Frank Dremick. Whistle off the ball provided by Bill Mildenhall. Or in fact, Eddie Crouch. Tony Ronaldson has his first personal foul.
That's his first.
Mike Kelly must have really taken a shot for him to just ask to be taken out, and something must be broken.
Well, the shudder I felt from the commentary position. Very solid whack, unintentional shoulder to the head area of Mike Kelly. I guess there is some irony in the fact that the Magic are known as the team that will be trying to grind the other down here and be very physical with them, but it's the Magic who are struggling with injury problems.
And the thing is, when a team is going to play you physical and you know it, sometimes you try and hit back with some physical play of your own, but sometimes it's not your game and you get more caught up into playing physical than you do basketball, but that has not been the case tonight. The Tigers have been so focused. They've played physical, they've played hard, they've run the break, they've played their style of basketball game, but they have matched the intensity of the Magic.
Very even here in term number 3 as well. We've played almost 9 minutes. Tigers have outscored the Magic 12-11, so a low-scoring affair here in term number 3. And Simon Curl has been listening in with the Melbourne Tigers.
Yes, Andrew Gaze has just said, let's run button. They want to expose one of the defenders on the Magic team. Now, I couldn't quite pick up who it was, but we'll see this time down the court. Well, I think whoever takes this shot, that's who they're trying to attack every time down the floor.
Timmins goes to Bradkey. Copeland guarded by Parkinson, hands off, now Gaze. Whistle this time is provided by Eddie Crouch. Bill Mildenhall, Eddie Crouch is speaking with Brian Goorjian at the moment. A very animated conversation taking place on the Magic bench. Foul called on Talbot. 16 now for the Magic, 13 for the Tigers. Surely a foul on Parkinson as he just overbalanced and shoved Copeland toward the baseline. Brian Goorjian is obviously disappointed with the way this game is being called. But as I just mentioned, foul count not dramatically in favour of the Tigers. And from the foul line, well, the Magic at 10 of 12, the Tigers 13 of 14. 3 minutes left in term number 3. Tigers lead it by 15. Timmins against Drimmick, confronted by Talbot, hands off to Bradkey from close range. Mark Bradkey comes up with 2 more. He now has 15 points in the match. Talbot. This is Parkinson firing. Couldn't get it to go. They wrestle for the rebound. Spills to Gaze. Kelly scrapping for the ball on the floor. Right in front of the Tigers bench. Wins possession for his team, perhaps. Let's get a look at it in replay. Gaze appeared to have his footing taken from him. But the Magic have come up with possession.
Well, at least Mike Kelly was making a play for the basketball. Andrew Gaze tripped over Mike Kelly, but he was making a play for the ball. He didn't just take his legs out.
Talbot penetrating against Bradkey. He comes up with the 2. Well, Brian Talbot switched the game around in term number 3 on Wednesday night by slashing to the hoop at every opportunity. Another whistle off the ball. Mike Kelly has his 3rd personal.
It didn't take Mike Kelly to get back in this basketball game. Didn't take him very long. But he knows how dangerous Andrew Gaze is on that shuffle cut. If you're trailing, play so well without the ball. Got to have vision the whole time. But if you have vision, then you can't see the screens coming. Very tough task. Now, if the Magic can get this lead down to single figures, we might have ourselves a ball game. But if they go in 14-15 down, it's going to be very tough to catch the Tigers.
From the benches, Simon Curl.
It must be very, very frustrating for Mike Kelly, who's played Andrew Gaze the exact same way the last 2 games, and this time the referees seem to be calling it a little different. So I think Mike seems very, very unhappy at the moment because of the inconsistency of the calls.
2 minutes left, term number 3. New 30-second shot clock now for the Melbourne Tigers. Drimmick and Sam McKinnon. Forlorn figures on the Magic bench at the moment. They scored the first 2 points of the match, the Magic. Led by 5 in the early stages of term number 1, but it's been the Tigers exclusively since quarter time. And here they come again. Gaze, little support ahead of him for the moment. Needs to slow it down. Now he penetrates. Magic wanted a travelling violation. No whistle forthcoming. Here's Giddy. Timmins wrestling with Parkinson on the low post, and Ray Hunt has made the call. Foul will be on Andrew Parkinson. Starting to rack these fouls up now. The second on Parkinson.
Foul is on Andrew Parkinson.
Well, there's a lot of defensive pressure out there, but when all the smoke settles, Parkinson's on the back of Marcus Timmins. That's a mismatch, and the Tigers go right to it.
Magic with 6 fouls in term number 3. The Tigers 5.
You see those numbers. 11 points, 10 rebounds. And he hasn't had any spectacular dunks, but he has been solid.
He may be saving something special for us, though. Less than 90 seconds away from the final break. The Magic need to find someone with a hot hand. Talbot short on the iron. Runnelton did well to work the ball to Parkinson. He penetrates. Now back to Anstey. Working against Bradkey from long range. Chris Anstey comes up with 2 more. He has just 6 in the match, however, along with 2 rebounds. And 17 points separates these sides 60 seconds out from three-quarter time. Timmins short on the iron. Ball spills to Mike Kelly. Wants support. Parkinson provides it from 3-point territory. Anstey came up with the offensive rebound, the putback for 2, and draws a foul as well.
Magic need to do that. Run the break, get some shots up. Things happen like that when you're aggressive, even on a missed shot. You run the floor, you play hard and positive, good things happen for you. Anstey with a good pair of hands comes up with that board that didn't get any rim.
can't hit the free throw. They need them all now.
Final 30 seconds or so. Term number 3. 15-point edge to the Tigers. They led by 14 at half-time. Here's Gaze. Smith stripped him of the ball. Has support ahead of him. Talbot with Copeland to beat. Hard to the hoop. Draws a foul on Copeland. That will be his second personal.
Leonard does a good job at making Tolbert take the shot. He played the passing lane, and because of his height and his athletic ability, still had the ability not to give him the bucket. He has to earn it from the line. Brian Tolbert, those are his numbers in limited minutes. And they say this game is played mostly below the rim. Maybe on some nights.
Little emotion from Lindsay Gaze. Now the Tigers about to capture their second title. Having won in '93 in Perth away from home. Fans here in Melbourne have waited a long time to have the opportunity, but it presents itself at the moment. And Copeland, with 2 people hanging off him, comes up with a monster bucket right on the three-quarter time buzzer. They have a 15-point lead at three-quarter time. The Melbourne Tigers 70, the Magic 55 here on Fox.
Well, even the most supportive Magic fans have to take their hat off to Leonard Copeland. He has just been exceptional tonight, and I'm not sure who could stop him in this building.
One man who was a very good stopper for the Magic was Darren Lucas. Here he is with Simon Curl.
Darren, you've played in 3 grand finals. Out of the 3 grand finals, what do you think the Magic are doing wrong tonight?
I don't think the Magic are working their offense well enough. There's not a lot of fire in the Magic team tonight, and I think that's what's going to be their downfall. Frank Drimmick's their only life in the team. Everyone else are just going through the motions, and there's no aggression, there's no determination. I think that's what's the difference between the Tigers and Magic tonight.
Mate, you've been out of the game now for just over 9 months. How much do you miss it? You must miss it. You've been just the finals, the feeling, everything like that. You must just be missing the atmosphere.
I don't miss the training, but it's this sort of game tonight that I really miss. Wanting to be out there in the second quarter when Andrew and Leonard started getting hot. It's very frustrating sitting there and watching, those guys shoot it and shoot so well. So, yeah, I'm missing it in the final series.
Cool, thanks, mate.
Thanks, Ollie.
Well, that's one player that's able to step it up in the big games, and I'm sure they miss his experience in this one. It's the Tigers 70-55, a commanding 15-point lead. I'm not sure if the Magic have enough scoring ability to be able to match punches with the Tigers. Free throw shooting hasn't been a whole lot of difference in the free throw attempts. 17 of 18, a great accuracy from the Tigers, 94%. The Magic shooting it well too, 80%, 12 of 15. Three-point shooting, poor for both teams. 3 of 17 for the Magic, 3 of 11 for the Tigers. Field goal shooting just under 50% for the Tigers. 1 out of every 3 for the Magic. Rebounding go to the Tigers. The Magic have only committed 6 turnovers and the assist 13-6. Tony Ronaldson still the leading scorer for the Magic with 16. And Leonard Copeland, he has been the man in this series. He has 22 after 3 quarters of play, and he has hit some tough shots. And that may have been the stake through the heart of the Magic at the end of the 3rd quarter.
Magic still on that same clip, 6 of 20 from the field in term number 3. After being 6 of 20 in term 1 and 7 of 20 in term 2. Final quarter underway from Melbourne Park. The Southeast Melbourne Magic, who bravely forced this into a deciding game 3 for the championship with their backs against the wall. Their best ever come from behind victory was only 8 points at three-quarter time. It would be a miracle for them to get home trailing by 15 at the moment, but it is a grand final. And just about anything can happen. Bradke moves the ball onward. This is Warwick Giddy. Copeland presents himself, steps inside, Anstey off balance, trains 2 more. He is putting on a clinic at the moment, Leonard Copeland. 24 points on 11 of 19 shooting. McKinnon penetrating, shut down by Bradkey, retreats to Drimmick in turn, Ronaldson for three, swish. Tony Ronaldson now with 19, the only Magic player in double figures. Pass from Copeland, swatted out of court by Sam McKinnon. They resume their battle. Copeland hands off, Bradkey pushes Anstey away, banks two off the glass, the tip-ins from Marcus Timmins.
Oh, they just look flat out awesome when they start doing things like that. Tough shot misses, and then they get an offensive tip-in.
McKinnon finds Ronaldson inside, reaching in. Foul will be called on Warwick Giddy. That will be number 3 for him.
Well, a mismatch there in kilos because Tony Ronaldson, one of the better players in the league at ceiling, and nice pass by Sam McKinnon. And good help by Warwick Giddy, even though it was a little bit late, but that would have been 2. Automatic 2 if Tony Ronaldson catches it that close to the hoop. And you got an opportunity to see what a good seal was like. Some good camera work.
90 seconds played in the final term. There you see the equation, a 14-point buffer in favour of the Melbourne Tigers. Here's Bradkey with a height advantage over Ronaldson. Instead, Giddy goes to Gaze and gets it back. Now Timmins. Double team. They work the ball around the perimeter. 7 seconds on the shot clock now for the Tigers as Gaze penetrates. Couldn't get it to go. Timmins came up with the rebound. Falls to the floor very heavily. Let's hope this is not serious. Unable to break his fall at all. Well, the way he's shaking the wrist, it would appear to be no structural damage at least.
Well, as you can see, he went over the back of Tony Ronaldson. And his legs, while he was up in the air, just clipped the lower body of Tony Ronaldson off balance. When you get up that high, you're always in danger of that happening to you.
McKinnon. Now Kelly top of the key. Hands off Drimmy. Back to McKinnon from three-point territory. Hard on the iron. Between them, Drimmick and Ronaldson coughed up the ball. Drimmick thought he was fouled, no whistle. And the Tigers have possession.
He was fouled. He's fouled by Ronaldson.
Copeland, the man they can't stop at the moment. Couldn't get that to go. Anstey finishes up with it. And being waved on by coach Brian Goorjian, Kelly comes up the floor. Pulls up from the foul line. Short with the shot. It was also wayward, but McKinnon keeps it alive. Kelly says to Bill Mildenhall that I was fouled. Ronaldson against Timmins, spinning to the foul line, draining 2 more. What a performance from Tony Ronaldson. 23 points. Only Copeland with 24 has more in the match. His team is back to within an even dozen.
That's a very important timeout by Warwick Giddy. If he coughs that one up and the Magic hit a bucket or a 3-point basket, they're 10 or within double figures at 9, so that's a good timeout. The momentum just slipping to the Magic. Couple of big buckets by Tony Ronaldson. He's their big-time player. Hasn't had a great series. I tell you what, all would be forgiven if he gets hot and he can pull his team out of this game.
Has a history of that too, Steve. That shot against Croatia, the 3-point bomb at the Atlanta Olympics. A memorable moment for him and for basketball in this country. So far in the final term, where we've played just over 3 minutes, the scoring has been 7-4 in favour of the Southeast Melbourne Magic.
Well, we said we were going to have a close game, and this game is starting to change momentum here with the Magic, and I think that it's just human nature to kind of try and protect the lead a little bit. Leonard Copeland finally missed a shot. The Magic, I think they were in that frame of mind that, look, we've got nothing to lose. Just shoot the basketball confidently. If we lose, we lose, but let's just not be tentative and lose this basketball game, because offensively, Sam McKinnon, even though he missed, he just came around off that screen, squared up and shoot like they had nothing to lose.
Tigers restart play. Bradkey being harassed by Anstey, who was already playing with 4 fouls. Bradkey to the hoop, draws a foul on Drimmick. That will be his third personal. Frank Drimmick, 2 of 10 from the field, 7 points in the match.
That's his third. 2 shots to Mark Bradley.
And even if Frank Drimmick, well, he does definitely get his arm. I'm not sure what Frank was looking at Billy for. And Frank doesn't say a whole lot out on the court. I think just a lot of emotion in this basketball game. Mark Bradley, that's a good foul, because if it's a dunk, it silences the crowd a little bit. He's got to go to the line. He's not a great free throw shooter. Make him earn it. Put some pressure on him. Make them win the basketball game. Just don't give it up.
Bradke 6 of 7 from the stripe. The Tigers 18 of 20 as a team. Tick over 8.5 minutes left. Magic have coughed the ball up for the 8th time in the game. Melbourne Tigers have 11 turnovers.
Still a good, aggressive backdoor play that wasn't executed for success, but that's a good sign for the Magic. They just look more aggressive offensively.
Timmins, guarded by McKinnon, hands off, here's Bradke. Around the perimeter, Copeland to Gaze, guarded by Kelly. Shot clock now into single figures as Bradke takes the ball to Timmins, reaching in from behind. That will be foul number 4 on Mike Kelly.
To me, that's a bad gamble. You got Mark Bradke 20 feet away from the basket. You go for a steal, great, you get it, but if you don't, he puts them, his teammates, in a disadvantage there. Mike Kelly has to foul Marcus Timmins. Just play contain, make them hit the shots. They're the team that has the momentum. The Magic have the momentum. The Tigers are a little tentative right now because they're protecting their lead. Make them make the shots. Don't send them to the line. 8 minutes is a lot of time. Tigers could go cold, but they won't miss free throws.
Timmins now with 15 points, 12 rebounds in the match. He leads the count on the boards. And the Magic have coughed the ball up again. Well, that is not going to help their cause. 15-point lead to the Melbourne Tigers. 8 minutes left in the 97 season. Tigers fans finding voice. Bradke against his Australian teammate from a long range shot, unsuccessful. Here's Drimmick doing the ball carrying duties for the Magic. With Bradke all over him, and double dribble called on Frank Drimmick.
And that's just a mental error. He picked up the dribble, see that, and he's looking for somebody to pass to. Puts it on the floor again, double dribble. Good pressure, forced him into that error.
Good refereeing as well. Here's Gaze working against McKinnon. Back to Copeland. Gaze 2 of 7 from 3-point territory in the match. Has 18 points in the game. This is Timmins. Spots Bradke closer to the hoop, and the reverse layup. A confident looking shot from Mark Bradke. Lead out to 17. Timeout called by the Magic. 7 minutes, 9 seconds left in the season. The Tigers are looking like winners.
Well, Bradke's defender lost vision of him, and he went right to the basket as soon as he did. And that's what you do. Marcus Timmins, they had to be aware of him because he had a smaller Jason Smith on his back. And so they were looking to help. And Mark Bradke hits a tough shot to take that lead up to 17.
Well, the Melbourne Tigers were labelled in some areas of the press here in Melbourne as chokers. They played in 4 of the last 6 grand finals with only 1 win to show for it, and if they were to lose here, one scribe suggested that that tag would live with them. It would appear that we're not going to have to worry about that scenario.
I tell you what, how could you call them chokers? These are such good teams in the final. If they were chokers, they wouldn't have been able to get to where they have consistently all these recent years. They have played some good basketball, been beaten by some very good teams. The Magic in particular 2 times. 2 very good Magic clubs beat them. I'll tell you what, they ain't choking tonight.
Well, that's certainly a little harsh. But basketball has been given a great boost by this fabulous three-game series to decide 97. This is Kelly working against Gaze from close range. Mike Kelly, who before that was 2 of 11 from the field, now has 8 points in the game. Lead back to 15. Copeland working against Jason Smith. Now Bradke. Timmins against Sam McKinnon. Couldn't get it to go. They wrestle for the rebound. Timmins got a piece of it. Giddy collides with Talbot and wins possession for the Melbourne Tigers. Talbot almost becoming his third victim of the night.
Good no call. They're both going for the basketball. Incidental contact.
Warwick Giddy has been a one-man wrecking machine. Here he is working baseline to Bradke, the two. Well, Giddy did the hard work and Mark Bradke put the finishing touches on. Bradke now with 20 points in the game. Only Copeland with 24 has more for the Tigers. 17-point break. Kelly trying to get 3 for his team. He finds the target. Kelly only the second Magic player into double figures. Lead back to 14. Talbot reaching in, appeared to relieve Copeland of the ball, but did it illegally. That is his third personal.
That's his third team foul. Side ball Tigers.
And there's the contact. Looked like an Aussie rules game. Going right up in the air. And the Magic get this done to him. Ronaldson wants the call, but good strong drive by Warwick Giddy. And how many teams would have such a role player play for him for so many years?
There's Timmins. Couldn't get it to fit, draws a foul, however.
Foul is on Sam McKinnon. That's
McKinnon
his third, fourth team foul. 2 shots to
has his
Marcus
third.
Timmins.
4 on the Magic as a team in term number 4.
Well, the big four have done their damage again. Marcus Timmins, when he hits this one, it'll be 17. Bang.
Marcus Timmins.
Mark Bradke has 20. Leonard Copeland, like we said, he's been the man. He's got 24. And Andrew Gaze only has 18. Last game, in game 2, he only took 12 shots. In this game, he's only taken 11.
Well, McKinnon helps himself to an easy 2. The Magic applying as much pressure as they can against the Melbourne Tigers. 14-point break. Tigers started the year with a 3-9 record, and in May, June were being written off as not being able to make the playoffs. Here's Copeland. Couldn't get the user-friendly roll. Bradke's got it, however, and has drawn another foul on the Magic.
And what a difference a couple of months make.
Foul is on
And the
Sam
papers
McKinnon.
here in
That's his
Melbourne
fourth.
were saying that Lindsay Gaze had it.
Mark
He should
Bradke
pass the throne to someone else. The Tigers were old. They needed to get rid of their import, Leonard Copeland. And well, I tell you what, I guess he wants his job, as he has been absolutely sensational here in the finals.
Bradke misses with a second. Here come the Magic. Less than 5 minutes left in 1997. They trail by 15. Need to get busy. Talbot, good backdoor play. Couldn't get it to fit from close range. The ball is loose and Talbot will get another opportunity. Kelly, hands off. Here's the Bear. 3-point bomb from Tony Ronaldson, who now has a game-high 26. 12-point buffer. 4.5 minutes remaining. Bradke dribbling in traffic. Passes the ball out of court. It is not over yet.
Well, sure isn't. They cannot be tentative. They have to attack the basket. That's how they've gotten the lead. If you're tentative, the Magic can double team and make those passes tough for you, just like that one.
Here's Kelly against Gaze. Playing with 4 fouls, Andrew Gates needs to be careful. Did well, and has worried Mike Kelly into error. Turnover number 11 for the Magic. The Tigers have 12.
Oh, that was a big turnover. With a shot like that, the Tigers get off the hook.
Giddy, guarded by Talbot. Warwick Giddy again has taken just 2 shots in the match. The consummate role player. KO'd McKinnon with a broken nose illegally, or legally I should say, in term number 1. Then sent Mike Kelly to the bench for some time as well. It opens up for Talbot. Copeland reaching in from behind. Got pretty good value for that foul as well.
Well, the baseline ref, Eddie Crouch, just called this out of bounds. But Ray Hunt had another angle on it. He calls the foul. That's why you have 3 referees. And there was definitely some contact on that drive.
Ian Stacker, Kevin Gorgian, assistant coaches of the Magic. Guy Malloy also in close attendance. Lindsay Gaze goes to work with his camp as well. Townsville Suns star Simon Curl running the benches for us, and will give us an update when this becomes available. 3:30 left.
Well, one thing I'm sure Lindsay is talking about is how to move without the basketball when they set those doubles on the defensive end of the floor and they need to attack. Boy, there's a lot of time. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in this basketball game, and 84 points isn't going to be enough to win this game. They need to score a few more times, be stingy at the defensive end of the floor, but to take this game out of reach, they need to do it. They need to do it at the offensive end of the floor.
Andrew Gaze, 18 points. That was his game total on Wednesday night. An equal season low. You can call 18 points a low. Very animated Brian Gorgian. Brian Talbot will go to the stripe. Important foul shots for the Southeast Melbourne Magic.
And when you're coming from behind, everything has to go right. Talbot a very good free throw shooter, but he misses one every now and then. These are big free throws. Definitely needs this one to go. Now, out of that, they can set up their pressure.
Pressure being applied up the floor from the Magic. Simon Curl, you listened in with the Magic. What's the plan?
Brian Gorgian wants the floor spread. You can see he has 4 3-point shooters out there. He's probably put one of the best 3-point shooters in the game out there in Andrew Parkinson. So hopefully Parky can light it up and get him back in the game.
This man isn't too bad either. What can he produce? Short on the iron. Reynoldsson taps it to the advantage of Talbot. Quickly he moves the ball up the floor. Confronted by Copeland again. Jason Smith is swinging off the rim with a tip-in dunk.
They need to run the clock, but they need to score. Very tentative. This is the Magic, how they want to play this game. Not a great shot attempt by Andrew Gaze. A long 3 with pressure. That's better.
Inside Simmons draws a foul on McKinnon. The 2 tumbles and he draws a foul. Al Westover, assistant coach of the Tigers, enjoying himself at the moment. The Magic had closed to within 9. Now Timmins stops them, but how about that for athletic ability?
And Jason Smith with a big jam, but Marcus Timmins on the other end of the floor comes up with a huge play.
Brian Talbot, will this be the last we see of him in Australia? He penetrates Timmins with a huge block and says, if that's the best you've got, you're playing in the wrong league. Oh, the crowd are on their feet here. And what an athlete Marcus Timmins is. Gaze has stolen the inbound pass and drawn a foul on Sam McKinnon. McKinnon is out of the game.
Watch this block shot, great angle. He comes in, nice strong drive. Marcus Timmins, not even close to fouling him. Just comes over and makes the big play. And you see it again. Look at that. Wow. He tells him, not in my house, baby.
Gee, he has brought something extra to the Melbourne Tigers. Not only scoring, not only rebounding, but his athleticism is dynamic. He is spectacular in the open court. You can watch him all night. And what a defensive play there.
He's so much fun to watch. And one, he's a great player, and two, he has so much fun doing it.
McKinnon checks out, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists for him. Drimmick worried out of the points by Timmins. Talbot's got it, hands off. This is Smith for 3-point territory. Bradke comes up with the rebound. Number 13 for him in that category. He leads the game. This is Timmins. From close range, couldn't get it to fit. Now Ronaldson, steaming forward, has support on both wings. This is Smith from close range. Illegal defense from Warwick Giddy. The 2 will count for Jason Smith. A 12-point lead to the Tigers, less than 2 minutes out.
They want to foul Warwick Giddy in this situation.
Tigers prepared to milk the clock. This is Copeland. Baseline Bradke. Shot clock now down to 5 seconds. Gaze from the car park. That would have been a miracle. Timmins comes up with the offensive rebound. He has been attracting the ball like a magnet. Wrestling with Jason Smith. It is getting very physical. Number 40 for the Tigers, and the right of your screen with Jason Smith going to work in the paint. Smith refusing to take a backward step. Again, the shot clock is into single figures, and what a block from Smith. The alley-oop play, but Copeland is there to finish it off. It is going to be the Tigers.
There you go. This tempers are starting to flare. A little bit of frustration. Probably in the camp of the Magic. Jason Smith and Marcus Timmins exchanging a couple of blows.
Emotional scenes on the Tigers bench. Blair Smith and Ray Gordon hugging one another. Brett Rainbow joining in. Still 62 seconds remain, but leading by 14. The celebrations are not premature. Matt Moore's checked into the game for the Magic. Here's Drimmick firing over Timmins. He buries 3. Frank Drimmick now into double figures, cuts the lead to 11. Final 60 seconds. At Gaze retreating away from the hoop, wanting Jason Smith to foul him. Protecting the ball. Time is the enemy of the Magic. Gaze working against Smith. Shot clock into single figures. Spinning to the left-hand side in the corner is Giddy. 3-point attempt, no good. Don't see that very often. Matt Moore's lost the handle now, and a good pressure from Timmins. And Andrew Gaze will stuff it in the hole. Well, that will do. Warwick Giddy, as Parkinson lands from 3-point territory. 320 NBL games for Giddy, just 9 3-point shots. That's why it was a little wayward. It's all over. The Melbourne Tigers have prevailed. A brilliant victory for Lindsay Gaze and his team. They get home by 10 points, 93-83, and are NBL champions for 1997. After a disastrous start to the year, where they won only 3 of their first 12 games, needed to change their import, replacing Jarvis Lang with Marcus Timmins, in a situation where they needed to win almost every game leading into the playoffs to get here. And 1993 revisited as Lindsay Gaze and his brilliant son Andrew and their teammates involved in emotional scenes. This time they get to do it in front of the home faithful. They joined the league in 1984. This is only their second title. But what a phenomenal run 16 consecutive wins before losing last Wednesday, but they get the title. For Chris Anstey, he farewells Australia without back-to-back flags he was hoping for, and must now prime himself for the NBA. And while the Magic were brave in defeat, the Melbourne Tigers' offensive potency of Gaze, Copeland, Radke and Timmins was just too much for them. Game 1 decided in the Tigers' favour in a blowout by 37 points. Magic hit back to win by 6 on Wednesday. But here in the decider, the Tigers get home by 10 points. Interviews to follow, top scorers in the match. Copeland 26, top scores in all 3 games, and surely will win the MVP. Tony Ronaldson came up with 26 for the Southeast Melbourne Magic after contributing only 5 on Wednesday night. Gaze 22, Radke 21, Timmins 20. All big scorers for the Melbourne Tigers. Magic won the rebound count 42-40. Had 2 more turnovers, however, 15-13. Foul count 26 to the Magic as a team, 17 for the Melbourne Tigers. And our man of the match was Leonard Copeland. He'd be pretty happy speaking to his Steve Carfino.
Leonard, you were just absolutely sensational in these 3 games. Man, you have to feel like you were MVP of the series. You got, admit it.
Well, it really doesn't matter right now. I'm just happy to get that ring. It's been a long time coming. We won it in '93. We thought we should have won it last year, and the boys came through tonight, and I'm just proud of everybody.
That makes it extra special. Some people saying that you guys may have choked a little bit after game 2. Denied a couple of years, but now it's all yours.
That's exactly right. I knew we had the talent. I mean, we've been playing great for the last part of the season, and I knew the guys were going to come through tonight, and they did.
It was an extra special game because the Magic played a physical game, and people thought if the game was allowed to be played like that, that they would prevail, but you guys took it to them in their own style of game.
Oh, exactly. They played really physically. I mean, really physical, and it hurt them in the beginning, and I think, you know, that's what got us through it. Some of their calls being too physical, and we just played basketball, and we got through it.
Well, fantastic game. What a great series. I'll let you get back to your teammates and start to celebrate.
Taki, you've been into, this is your 3rd grand final. It's the first one you lost. I know it must be eating you alive inside, but just tell the viewers at home exactly how you feel right now, mate.
Yeah, well, as you said, I never lost one. And I think the Tigers watched us last year when we won it, and I think that made them a lot hungrier. So I'm making sure I get a good look at this, and I think it'll help us next year and give us some motivation. That's the only positive I can see out of it. Besides, the Tigers were the best team today, and my hat goes off to them. But we've got they obviously had the hunger this year, and yeah, that's all I can say.
Congratulations, mate. You've had a great year. All right, don't worry about it. You had a fantastic year. Go and sit down, mate.
Well, Marcus, they say you're the difference. I have to believe them. Ever since you came, you guys have been on a winning tear. It must feel pretty good.
It feels great, you know. I just want to come in and do the best I can. So I think I did a great job coming in, and they let me do my skills, you know, be with the organization with the Gaze offense and stuff. And I came in and gave some good time, and they gave me some plays and stuff. And, you know, the X factor, they can call me that or call me a good, wherever you want to call me. But I feel that I did a great job coming in the first time with the Tigers in the middle of the season.
Well, you did a fantastic job in game 2, especially early in the basketball game. 11 points in the first quarter. Then you went scoreless, but it looked like they were really going to you tonight early.
Yeah, that's what we kept. Every timeout, they say go right to Marcus because I had a mismatch, you know. So I kept going right to it and right to me, and the results came up. You know, I got fouled or hit out. Drury got a shot. Copeland got a shot. Whoever.
It looked like early in the game too, you really wanted it too, because after they fouled you on one occasion, you were giving the signals like, just keep getting me the ball.
That's right. Lindsay even told him, said, hey, just get the ball to Marcus inside and let him do his work.
Well, fantastic performance. We have really enjoyed it. It's been a great series. I'll let you get back to your teammates.
Thanks, Steve. All right.
Bear, it seemed to be a very physical game, mate. Where do you think the game was lost for the Magic?
I think in the second quarter when we tended to let a few calls that didn't go our way, it got to us a little bit and they got on a little bit of a run and we didn't respond to that really well. So just in that second quarter, and I think other than that the game was fairly even, but you know, they're a class team and they've got some talented players and they were better than us tonight and fully deserved the win.
Do you feel that they were a lot more physical at the start of the game than you guys were?
I don't think so. We both were fairly physical. We just seemed to be getting a few fouls called against us, and we thought we were getting a bit hard done by. But no, it's not sour grapes. They played the better game tonight, and you know, it wasn't like last Saturday night where we just played with no pride. I thought everyone gave their 100% all night, right to the end, and you know, I'm really proud of my whole team. They're a fantastic bunch of guys, and you know, the thing is we're all young. You know, Frankie Trimmick's 19, Sam McKinnon 21. We've got some young guys, and you know, hope we've got a bright future.
Great game, champ. Go and relax.
So the celebrations continue.
Come back from the dead, baby.
No kidding.
Leonard Copeland souveniring the net. Tremendous scenes here. Fantastic atmosphere of some 15,000 fans. Let's go back out on court.
Ray, when you guys are sitting towards the bottom of the ladder, it had to be killing you more than anybody.
Mate, this is just a dream. I mean, we were second last at one stage, 4 months ago, and now we're champions. It's just fantastic.
And that game was really extra special because a lot of people felt like if it was physical, it was going to be the Magic. But it was very physical, probably more physical than 1 or 2, and still it was the Tigers by a landslide.
Hey, we just tried to take the emotion out of it. We were down all week, but today, hey, this is special. We just come back strong.
A great team effort, especially coming back from the dead, like you said before, earlier in the year. What a team effort. Everybody played their role. Every time an individual player came on, you did a great job, yourself included. It must be a fantastic feeling.
Man, I'm 32 years old, just about to sign another contract for 2 years. I'm the happiest man in the world. I'm the happiest man in the world.
Well, I guess that pretty much describes it. Get back to your teammates, get the champagne, and just enjoy that ring. Not too many of them come along. Thanks, Ray, I think.
Oh, Steve Carfino gets all the good jobs. Look at the excitement on the face of Andrew Gaze. Never before have they won the title here in Melbourne. He and his family have given so much to this club. They want Lindsay up there as well. He is the oldest coach in the NBL. I'm sure he won't mind me mentioning that. The only grandfather to coach in the NBL. But he's still sprightly enough to be up there to celebrate with his players. Back to Tony Ronaldson. Fantastic performance from him after the disappointment of Wednesday night where he was outplayed. He returned with a vengeance to hit 26 points for his team. Joint top scorer in the match with Leonard Copeland. And let's have a look at some of the numbers for this deciding Game 3 of the 97 Grand Final Series. Field goal shooting percentage was the Achilles heel of the Southeast Melbourne Magic throughout. They finished at just 38%. In Game 1, they shot the ball at 33%. And the Melbourne Tigers, well, 44% is below their season average, but it's enough to get the job done here. Very close in the rebound and turnover count. Not much in terms of three-pointers. And 11 extra points from the stripe for the Melbourne Tigers. Presentation not far away. Top scorers. And there you have it. Leonard Copeland outscores everyone in 3 consecutive games in the grand final. and is our pick of the MVP. Gaze finishes with 22 points, 9 assists. Mark Bradkey, 21 points, 13 rebounds. Marcus Timmins, 20 points, 13 rebounds. Ray Gordon had 2. And Daniel Egan was the only other Melbourne Tigers player to score. Along with Ronaldson's 26, Mike Kelly provided 11 points, 5 rebounds. Drimmick and Sam McKinnon both in double figures. Drimmick 10 points, 7 rebounds. And is he set for a fantastic year next year and beyond? And Chris Anstey, who picked up his 4th foul in the concluding stages of the second quarter, was largely not a factor here. He will head to the NBA with 8 points and 4 rebounds from the grand final. Rick Charlton, chairman of the NBL,
What a great night's basketball.
about to make the presentation.
Competition we've had in 19 years in NBL, and the Melbourne Magic entered 22-8 into the finals. But the Tigers performed brilliantly in the playoffs. Only one can win. But before we honour the Tigers, let us give the Southeast Melbourne Magic one more round of applause. Professional sport in Australia is competitive and tough, and the NBL relies very heavily on sponsors to bring to you fans and to fans all around Australia the spectacle of the Mitsubishi Challenge. On behalf of the directors and all of us in the league, I'd like to thank our naming rights sponsors, Mitsubishi Motors Australia. I'd like to thank Qantas, the official airline of the NBL, Uncle Toby's, who sponsor the All-Star Game, and Coca-Cola, the official soft drink. One of the great pieces of news we had this week was that Mitsubishi Motors Australia Limited has signed up, having been with us since 1992, has signed up for another 4 years as a naming rights sponsor. Into the next century with Mitsubishi. The Melbourne Kmart Tigers performed tremendously well in this series. Congratulations to them. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, to the presentation. I would like to introduce Mr. David Turner, Manager, Sales Promotion and Sponsorship for Mitsubishi Motors Australia Limited.
Thank you, Rick. And on behalf of Mitsubishi Motors, I'd just like to say that it was again a fantastic exhibition of talent and skill and, of course, sheer determination by both teams. Congratulations to the Tigers on a magnificent win. And of course, bad luck tonight to the Magic. It was a great effort, and you're tremendous competitors. I would just like to say though that you know, there's a lot of people that Mitsubishi have to thank with putting on the Mitsubishi Challenge. Of course, it's the NBL. Of course, it's each of the 11 clubs that are involved in the competition, to the officials, referees, the media, and also the basketball public. It's important, so thank you very much. Finally, I'd just like to say that, as Rick said, we are going to continue our sponsorship for the next 4 years, and of course, that means that we'll do everything we can to bring you the best in basketball. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the league has been operating since 1979. We have, I think, a marvelous tradition of recognizing the team that beat everybody but one. The other grand finalist in the contest, we think it's very important to recognize the Southeast Melbourne Magic by giving awards to their players and coaches. Firstly, I'd like to call forward the coaching staff, Brian Goorjian and his assistant coach and brother, Kevin Goorjian. Matt Moore. Andrew Parkinson. Jason Smith. Frank Drimmick. Chris Anstey, whom we wish all the best in his sojourn in the NBA. The Iron Man, Mike Kelly. Brian Tolbert. Sam McKinnon. And the co-captains of the Magic, Tony Ronaldson and John Dorsch. Southeast Melbourne Magic, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like also to make a special note and thank our two broadcasters tonight, Fox Sport, who's been with us for 3 years, and Network 10, who's finishing their 6th year. It's unfair to name anybody at Channel 10, but from Mike Odson, Roslas Motherly, John Palmer, John Murray, Steve Quartermain on down 10, you've been great allies to the league over the last 6 years. And a little bit of change to format, the league would now like to name the player who has played the best over the whole series, the most valuable player for the Grand Final Series. And ladies and gentlemen, there can be no doubt in this series it was Leonard Copeland. Mitsubishi Challenge Grand Final Series Most Valuable Player. And now to the 1997 champion team, the Melbourne Tigers. Firstly, assistant coach Alan Westover. Eric Wickstrom. Damian Chapman. Daniel Egan. Brett Rainbow. Brett Jeffries. Blair Smith. Ray Gordon. Marcus Timmons. Warwick Giddy. Leonard Copeland. Mark Bradkey. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call up the coach of the team, Andrew Gaze, and the captain of the team, Andrew Gaze, and the coach of the team, Lindsay Gaze.
Firstly, it's very special for us from where we come from the start of the year to see this. A lot of people wrote us off, and I think the Melbourne Tigers showed that they've got very, very big hearts and a lot of character come back from where we were. Having said that, I think that as far as the Southeast Magic was concerned, I think that we have nothing but respect for them, for their coaching staff, and I'd like every Melbourne Tigers fan to thank these guys here because they were champions tonight as well. Lastly, I'd just like to thank a couple of people, particularly Kmart, our major sponsor. For without them, we wouldn't be here. And very special person at Kmart, Ross Bartlett, who's helped us out. I don't know if he's here tonight, but he's been very good to us. And also the people at Kodak and all the sponsors. And of course, we'd like to thank Mitsubishi because they've been with us a long time. And for without them, we wouldn't have the opportunity to play this game. And it is great. I'd also like to thank the Melbourne Press because the last 2 weeks they have done justice to the sport of basketball, the greatest sport in the world. Thank you people for coming along. And last but not least, we got some celebrating to do, so all the Tigers fans get ready to party. Let's go.
At the start of the year, I told our board that I thought we had the best team that we've ever had. Considering our history and the performances that we've had over the years, that was a fairly bold statement. When we're 3-9 or 3-10 or 3-11, whatever it was, my credibility obviously was being tested. But once we got fit and healthy, each time and each game, the players responded. And from the halfway mark, every game was a test of whether we could reach the finals. And every one of those games, I think, helped prepare us for the biggest game of all, and that was through this series tonight. I think I made a pretty fair statement at the start of the year. This is the best team that we've had in our history, and considering the battle that we had to beat the Southeastern Magic tonight, it gives some credit to them for pushing us to a higher limit than we thought we might have been able to achieve. So congratulations to the Magic for helping us get forward. And I'd like to thank all of the players on our team for setting a new tradition for the club. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the final act tonight is to present to the Tigers the Perpetual Trophy, the Doc Rasky Perpetual Trophy that is passed around to the championship team every year in memory of Dr. John Rasky, the founder of the league. And of course, the Mitsubishi Challenge Trophy that can go right next to the other one in the cabinet that the Tigers keep. So on behalf of the Tigers, if we can get Lindsay and Andrew to accept, before the team joins them, so I'll remind you that the season starts next year, January 30th, and we hope we can start where we left off tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1997 Mitsubishi Challenge champion.
So the celebrations begin here for the Melbourne Tigers, and the 90-cent season has come to a dramatic conclusion.
And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the river room will be open open for all Magic supporters right now. Join the supporters and players.
Andrew Gaze gives his father a hug and all of his teammates. And I tell you what, that has got to be one of the best feelings in the world. All those guys, especially this team right here, from where they had to come from, like Lindsay Gaze said, practically every game was a grand final for them.
And as they begin to celebrate, we can tell you that they have won it by 10, 93-83 to take the grand final series 2-1. 90 days before the new season starts. Between now and then, well, you can immerse yourself in the NBA on Fox. Thanks to everyone that's contributed to our coverage throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you again in January. And for now, the Tigers are champs.
This has been a Fox Sports production.
Thanks to everyone that's contributed to our coverage throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you again in January. And for now, the Tigers are champs.
This has been a Fox Sports production.
And Tigers fans are reminded that the function is being held over at the Function Centre at Olympic Park over the road. So Tigers fans will go over and celebrate.